This is Whitney Owens Park, or Freestyle for your kind, and today I will be discussing some information to help you understand your child and their personality more clearly. So there are three categories that children generally fit into. And those are the temperament categories. And while your child might have a little bit of all three of those, generally they will be acting out of one of these three categories more of the time. These categories include the flexible, easygoing child, the shy or cautious child, and the feisty or high intensity child. So what I will do is I will break down first the traits that you would notice if you have, so that you can figure out which temperament your child most likely has, and then I will give you the actual parenting strategies on how to approach your child depending on their temperament. One of the good things to remember is that your child's temperament is part of their personality. It's inherent to them. It's something that you can't change by trying to tell them not to do something. So it's really important not to parent them according to your temperament or how your personality works. And so you will want to learn your child's temperament so that you can match your parenting skills to their specific needs. And so I'll go into that in just a second. I have some handy dandy notes here that are helping me. And if any of you want the actual copies of these papers, just message me and I will send you a picture of them so that you can have them on hand and you can refer back to them. When you are coming up against your child behaving out of a particular temperament and it's really causing you to have an emotional reaction, you can ask yourself a few questions. So you want to ask, why is my child doing this? What is causing them to do this? Second, you want to ask them, are they doing this to annoy me intentionally? And usually you will have to say no, they're not. They're just being themselves. The third question is, what are the emotions that I'm having related to what my child is doing right now? And that's really important to do because you need to separate what your emotions are from what your child's emotions are and try to just parent your child based on what their emotions are and not based on how we are feeling in the particular moment. And then the last question is, what is the e-parenting strategy or the temperament smart strategy that I am going to use in this moment to help my child to be able to overcome the circumstance and to behave better or to behave in a way that helps them to handle their emotions in a healthy way. So first of all, the first temperament is the easygoing or the flexible child. Now, this is the temperament that my child has, and so I have the most experience in this area. So, for instance, my child adjusts to new situations rather quickly. He will warm up to people generally quickly. He's a little bit slow on this area, but easygoing children are more likely to warm up to people more quickly. They are also usually in a good mood. They smile a lot. They are going to follow your routine without complaints most of the time, eating and sleeping on time. They're going to react more mildly to discomforts that they're having, and when they do cry, it is most likely because they are having a discomfort. It's not for some sort of emotional reason. It's most likely because there is a reason why they're crying. They will also find ways to soothe themselves, and they will also be so willing to just play on their own, and they're easy. They find it easy to play on their own without you needing to come in and interact with them or other children to interact with them. So, how do you parent the easygoing and the flexible child? Well, seeing that they're so willing to play on their own, the biggest thing is that you don't let them be on their own too much of the time. You want to be more conscious about spending time with them and giving them stimulation, helping them to learn, and working on giving them enough attention so that you're helping to develop them and grow their minds. Also, they might not be giving you obvious cues of what their needs are. And so you're going to have to pay more attention to the subtlety of what they're trying to communicate to you about what their needs are, especially when they are little babies and they're not able to tell you specifically, hey, I have to go potty, or whatever it is. Also, if you are not able to spend enough time with your child, you set up times for your child to spend with other people in your family so that they do get some attention and they do get that stimulation. An easygoing child will thrive with routine. So just respect that they will need that routine and follow the routine. Every child thrives with routine. So just try to, with any parenting, routine is the best starting the foundation that will help you to have success and have more peace and less stress in your household. And then enjoy how confident that your child is making you feel as a parent, because they're so easy to manage. Because not every baby is like that, and if it's your first baby and your first baby is easygoing, enjoy it, because by the next time around, you're probably going to have a baby with a completely different temperament, and you're going to have to learn to parent them according to their specific needs. So the next temperament is the shy or the cautious child. And these babies are going to be it's going to take them a little bit longer to warm up. They're going to be slower to warm up to new situations and people. They're going to cling to the people that they know to seek protection and safety and security. They are going to withdraw or even run away from new experiences, and that's when you see a baby hiding behind mommy because they're more shy. They will be more observant and more cautious to join in to group circumstances or to new activities, and they are much more sensitive to overstimulation, and they might even be slower to smile and respond more slowly verbally, or they might not even be showing you what their needs are. This similar to the easygoing child, but they're not going to be screaming maybe about wanting to eat or about a dirty diaper. They might just let it go, and so that's another, you're going to have to be paying attention to the cues of your babies if you have a shy or cautious baby or toddler. So with the shy or the cautious child, you will want to take it slow with them. Be patient. That's the key to shy and cautious children. Be patient, be patient, be patient. Just make sure that you are not forcing them into situations too quickly, and that you also alert other people to, hey, my kid is a little shy. I'm going to let them sit in my lap for a while during this activity and let them observe it before they join in. Maybe you go to toddler's playtime or something, and your child watches for 2 or 3 rounds before you actually let them, or before they are comfortable enough to say, okay, yeah, mommy, I'm ready, or yeah, daddy, I'm ready to go play with the toys with the other kids. So just let them choose when they are ready. And then you're going to want to watch for their signals, because their signals will let you know, I'm getting overstimulated, I'm getting overwhelmed, this situation is making me unhappy. And before it gets to your toddler or your baby is just really upset, go ahead and take them, remove them away from that situation, spend parent-baby bonding time, and just try to calm them down so that they aren't feeling misunderstood, and that they get to relax and not have to go through all that overstimulation. And again, just know what your baby is like. And if your baby is introverted and shy, just let them be that. Don't expect them to be outgoing, especially if they're shy and they're having a hard time communicating with other kids. Don't demand them. Don't scold them for not going and talking to the other kids, because that will probably make it even worse. And as they get older, they will learn the techniques to be able to approach others. But when they're really little, it's just too much to ask them to change their personality and their temperament. Even down to things like if it's anything new might cause your shy or your cautious child to get overwhelmed. So it might take, if you're introducing new clothing or if you're introducing new food, give them a few chances of looking at it or examining it before you expect them to try on that new outfit or to try that new food, and just warm them up slowly so that they don't have to feel forced or rushed into anything. Now, the last child is obviously going to have it's going to be the hardest temperament to deal with, and that is the feisty and the high intensity child. Before I get started, it's important for you to remember that if you have a feisty and a high intensity child, that is not your fault. That's your child's temperament, and that's part of their personality. And you didn't do anything wrong. It's just something that is part of who they are. And so we need to embrace that. And we also need to be forgiving for ourselves, because there might be people in our family who are calling us bad parents, or friends who are like, why is your child so out of control? And so that's when you start to say, my child is just this way, and you accept them and you embrace that it's a little bit harder to get them in control, but you're not going to scold them for who they are. So let me go into their traits and the personality traits. So these children are going to have more difficulty adjusting to changes and new situations. When you are shifting from one activity to another, they are going to be upset about it, and they will let you know about it. They will often not be paying enough attention to the routine to alert you. So at mealtime, they will probably not be hungry. At bedtime, they will not be sleepy. Because they have so much energy, they're going to get more upset and reactive if their adults are scolding them or being upset to them. They're also going to have strong reactions to things that they do not like. They will let you know what things they do not like. They're strong-willed, they're active, they're noisy. They are going to test your limits over and over and over again. And when they get told no, they will have difficulty calming themselves down. And they demand our attention. And even down to the point where they might be more light sleepers and wake up more frequently at night to get your attention. Or to be comforted. So it's definitely, you can see how compared to the other two groups, a feisty child can be a lot to handle. So just like I said, you're not to blame. Make sure that you inform the people around you that this is who my child is and I am parenting them effectively. Then if you know somebody else who has a feisty child, make friends with them, because you guys can be support to each other, and you guys are going to understand what it's like to have a child who just is very strong-willed, and let them play together, and there's not going to be that judgment there. So when your child is very high intensity, and whatever that is, if they're too excited or if they're too angry or upset, what you're going to do is you're going to try to calm them down by removing them from the situation. So there's two things that you need to remember. There's the e-parenting skills, which I was talking about the other day, where you're putting yourself in your kids' shoes, excuse me. You put yourselves in your kids' shoes and you say, why are they feeling this way? And then you help them understand. You describe that emotion and you describe why they're feeling that to them. And you want to get down on their level with these kids. Put your hands on their shoulders or hold their hands and say, you're gonna mimic their intensity for a minute. And this comes from the same doctor who made Happiest Baby on the Block. He also made a video called Happiest Toddler on the Block. Yeah, Toddler on the Block. And in Happiest Toddler on the Block, he talks about toddleries. And this is where you are using the e-parenting, but you're also matching the intensity of the child's language. So I will give you an example. So say your child is fighting over a toy. You get down on the level of your child and you say, Elisha is so upset. He wants to play with that toy. He wants to play with that toy. He wants to play with that toy. And other people are probably going to think you're crazy. But your child will lock eyes with you all of a sudden and say, she understands. And you will see that recognition in their eyes. They will get quiet and look at you like this. And it's because they feel understood. And so then once they get quiet, then you have the moment to say, Mommy is so sorry you don't get to play with that toy right now. But we don't take toys from other kids. So we're going to go out in the hallway and we're going to talk about it. And we're going to take a moment to relax. And so you're using the same intensity. You're getting them to understand. And then you remove them from the situation so that they can calm down. And when they come back, hopefully they're not going to go right back to the same behavior. But it's most important to remain consistent with, especially with a high intensity child. All children, you need to be consistent, but it's harder to do with a child who is continually getting mad and making demands of you. And so you just have to stick to your guns and say, no, we don't, whatever it is. And be consistent with the rules. Once you've said something, make sure that you keep you follow your own rules. So, like I said, with every child, routines are so important. But with these children, it will help them to make sure that they feel secure and that they will know that there's not a bunch of change going to happen. And so if they can depend on that routine, they're going to be more likely to be cooperative with you. And if they're being tossed around lots of change all of the time, it's just going to really aggravate their temperament. Another aspect of this is when you are making changes, so whether it's you're moving from one activity to another activity, give these children warning times. So you're going to say 10 minutes before, okay, we're almost done with this activity, 5 minutes and 2 minutes, so that they are gradually warming up to the idea, we're about to finish this activity and we're going to go do whatever else it is that you said we're going to do. The same thing with if the routine is actually radically changing for the day, you're going to still do the warnings, but you're also going to make sure that they understand through the e-parenting skills. You're saying, I'm sorry that you're upset that today we can't go to the park. Maybe you go to the park every day. We can't go to the park today because we have to go to the doctor, and I'm sorry that you're disappointed. And so you just explain it to them, and most likely that's going to help them be more cooperative because they feel understood with that you are understanding them. And again, especially with these kids, they're gonna fight because they're just more in the moment, I think. And so when it's the set times for the things in the routine and it's bedtime, it's eating time or bedtime, and they're getting upset because they still want to play, well, that's when you're going to go back again to, you're sticking to the routine and you're doing the same things to help them get adjusted, but you're also using the e-parenting to help them to feel okay with it. And you can do things like if your toddler doesn't want to go to bed, and it's bedtime, you put a little bit of soft music on to help blow them into a different emotional state. Or you can also just let them stay up for a little bit, but turn out the lights and do whatever you do normally, but let them have a toy to play with in bed, and they will talk themselves to sleep. And and gradually go to bed. Even if you've already left the room and gone to bed, just you can make small adjustments to how they're going to bed. And then the last thing to remember is that we need to remain calm as parents and not to be reactive to our children, because we are the examples that are setting for them of how to behave and how to have to deal with conflicts in a healthy way. So we need to try to remain calm, and if we are getting upset, then it's good to have a very safe place that we can have our children, whether it's in their crib or in their room, and they're playing and they're safe, or if you have somebody else that you can pass the baby on to, so that you can walk away and have a breather and just remind yourself, they're not doing this to annoy me, they're not trying to aggravate me, this is just who they are, and I'm working to help them to handle situations in a healthy way. And I'm not abandoning them by walking away right now. I'm helping them because I'm demonstrating good coping skills. And if you are really to the end of your rope, just remember that hopefully you have a support group. You have people in your life who would be more than willing to watch your baby for half an hour to a couple hours and let you go have some time on your own, because you're with the baby all the time and you just need a break because it's been stressful, and just to give yourself that relaxation that you need to come back and be able to handle the challenges a lot better because you've given yourself some time off. So these were the 3 temperaments and the temperament smart parenting strategies, and I hope that you enjoyed learning about this, even if you're not at the stage where your child is really presenting their temperament, because it will help you in the long run to be prepared for the different temperaments that you might come across as you parent. I hope you have a blessed day, and if you want to see any of this documentation, and I can just send you a picture of it, and if you want to know how I'm earning an income and working towards financial freedom from home, hit me up, and I would love to talk to anybody. Ciao, nos vemos.